What's going on, guys? It's Austin. Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be part 3 of a series. We don't know how long it's going to be. See how that rhymed? Never mind. So, in the last part, we basically talked about part 1 and how the first 2 weeks of the program were going to be the most strenuous and confusing, and how we're going to lose the most people, and everything that we basically went through. Now, there's a few things that I kind of left out, but we're going to cover that in part 2. Part 3. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification. Let's get into it. So let's just get into talking about the rites of passage. Now, we mentioned this in the last episode. Let's just get this out of the way. The rites of passage is going to be around the 20-mile hike, okay, and 20-mile journey, where there's different stages around a certain amount of mileage that we run, walk, or whatever, where we are tested physically or on our academic level or our knowledge of our cadet handbook that we had to memorize forwards, backwards, and sideways. Like in the cadet handbook, there was a particular pledge that we had to remember, and if we didn't remember it, it could have landed us in some trouble. So a lot of us struggled to remember that long pledge. It was absolutely ridiculous. Even to this day, I couldn't even remember the first sentence, but we had to memorize that, all types of things. Now, we're going to get into talking about the rites of passage maybe later this video. That's probably what this is going to be called, the rites of passage episode. Now, there's a few things that I missed out on in the first and second video. When I originally told you there were only 3 platoons, I lied to you. Now, that's only because I forgot, because I was never a part of the infamous, say it with me, infamous 4th platoon. Now, 4th platoon was a very special group of kids who did not follow the rules and made an absolute mockery at times of Free State Challenge Academy. 4th platoon was the punishment platoon. Now, in this platoon, it was never fun. If you were in this platoon, you were to wear our sweatsuit. Now, we were given a gray sweatsuit, gray top, gray bottom. Okay, now we would only wear those usually in the inside of the building, or we'll wear it at night. You know, we can usually wear it whenever we want, as long as we're not going outside. Unfortunately, for 4th platoon, they have to wear that gray sweatsuit every day, everywhere we go. Now, we were given around 3 sets of these. Actually, I'm gonna bring you up a picture of me with the sweatsuit on. Here it is. Now, I don't actually know, I can't find more pictures of me in my other uniforms, because we had 3 sets of uniforms. Our PDWs, I forgot exactly the name of it, but our Army kind of looking uniform, our actual kind of like summer uniform, and our gray sweatsuits. Alright, now the 4th platoon had to wear the gray sweatsuits at all times outside. Because, you know, regular us, we didn't go outside with that. That would be insane. It's around 500 degrees outside every day. So you were sweating if you were in 4th platoon. And in 4th platoon, you had to, while everyone else is eating, right? You're outside getting smoked the entire time we're eating. And only after we are finished eating, you are allowed to go in. So to give you an example of how long that is, we usually allow the females, 3rd platoon, to go in first, so they'll march all the way around and they'll go in. Usually, and then get into the doors one by one, so that takes a little bit. Then usually, a 2nd platoon, the 1st platoon have a little competition to see who's going to go in first. So it might be a competition between, it might be a race, it might be a marching competition, it might be something from the cadet book. It might be something that we said yesterday. It'll be some kind of competition between us to see who's going to go in first. Now, 2nd platoon, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Now, that might be for some people from the 1st platoon when we worked, when we were down there. They might watch this video and might disagree with you completely. But, and usually the winner would go in first. It was always something fun for us to do while the females were going in. Now, sometimes we had the females compete with us. They never won. They never won. So we just stayed, courteous to them, let them go in first. And I got a lot of stories about these females. Let me tell you something, Job. It's just, this place was just very new to a lot of us. So, 4th platoon would have to wait until every single one of us ate and came back outside. Once we were finished, they were then allowed to go in. They were the last to do everything. If we were in formation, and it's time, we're just at the mail call. They get their mail last, by the way. They usually get smoked all the time. Like, seriously, like, smoke. You usually get smoked. Now, I had one 4th platoon scare in my life, and I actually remember this. And I'm actually going to give you this story right now. This one's actually a month into the program, but we're going to give it to you now, give you a little sneak peek into the future, because obviously I managed to get through the rites of passage. My one and only 4th platoon scare was when we had this war. Me, my roommates, and a lot of us in 2nd platoon had this big war, and it was kind of like a pillow fight. Now, I know, look, you're bored, okay? You don't have technology, you don't have much to do, you can read books during your free time, and that's really it. You know what I mean? You can talk to each other, but you don't really have access to the outside world. You're just with each other, so we fought. I'm not gonna lie, we wrestled, we fought. There were times we fought the sergeants and commanders. They'd come in and we just wrestle and just waste time, you know what I mean? And that's another story for another day. So, our room had beef with this room that was 2 doors up to the left. And they and us, we would just rush into the room and just mad pillow fight. Just absolute mayhem. Now, this is going to sound a little mature, but I'm going to tell you guys. We did this thing where we took our white undershirts and we would put it over our heads. And we would tie it so it would look like a jihadi mask or somebody from ISIS, like some just crazy looking mask to kind of and we would rush in with pillows and just like, and these pillows weren't being swung at full force by like us who were kind of in shape at this point. Those pillows hurt, like they hurt really bad, and we used it as if it was like we were swinging to kill someone. So we would come in and we would usually jump somebody. It was just gang warfare, and it was the greatest thing ever. It was so fun. But somebody from a room from 1st platoon, which was all the way up the hall, had beef with my room. Now, to get from our room to their room is kind of complicated, right? Because there's a long hallway, there's 2 cameras on each side, right? Now, we put on the jihadi mask so the cameras don't know who we are. They may be able to come to our room, but most of the time they can't point us out, right? They can't, right? They could punish the whole room, but that's a little petty, but they actually threatened us with that. That's why we kind of dropped it, but that's fine. So, me being an idiot, right? I said, we're going to war with them, right? Me and my roommates are like, all right, let's do this. So we grab our masks and we run all the way up the hallway. Now, we chose a time where our sergeants and stuff were downstairs and talking and whatever. So we ran up the hallway and ran in the room, and they already knew what was up. We had a war, right? It was just pain, and we were beating them down. And then, unfortunately, it was time. We realized we had to go. We ran. And there was Sergeant Kane. That's what I called him. Sergeant Kane was standing right there, and I froze. I looked at him and I didn't know what to say. He was like, "Don't take that mask off. Keep your mask on." Now, unfortunately, you were in a military school. Now, you probably guys were probably thinking it's a little immature for us to be wearing masks, posing as like jihadists attacking each other, but that was just the name of the game, you know what I mean? Hey, we were kids, who cares, right? Not like we were actually like in the army or anything. We didn't care. So he had me and my roommates walk down the hall. He called everybody out. He said, "Oh, you guys come out here and look at these jokers," is what he kept calling us. And I knew it was over for me. I said, "This is 4th platoon worthy. I'm gonna die, right? I can't handle 4th platoon. I can't handle what they go through." So they take us outside. They call us into formation outside, tell us to get dressed into our gray sweatsuit. And they took our room and the room that we went to war with, and they smoked us in front of everyone. And like it, and usually people are like, if you're getting smoked, most of the people who are not are getting smoked are gonna laugh at you. It's just how it is, right? I've laughed at people getting smoked. It was a very interesting time. So we're getting smoked, and he actually gives us mercy. He says, "Listen, I'm not gonna put you guys in I should put you guys in 4th platoon, but I'm not gonna do it because I don't know really what it was. Just a passing whim in his head to give mercy to us, you know. But he actually had punishments for us. They said either you can be in 4th platoon or you can do the punishments that I said you're gonna do. I said, all right, fine, I'll do it, right? You know, I'll take the blunt because it was mainly my idea, right? Me causing problems or whatever. So we had to take one of our new toothbrushes and use that to clean the staircase. Now, again, it's a 4-story building, so that's like a lot of stairs, and we had to clean the walls and the stairs, and that's some like stuff you see in a movie, and it's the first time I've ever done some crazy stuff like that. We were watched, and they watched us do it, and we had to just squash and just clean. They gave us legitimate cleaning supplies and gave us a toothbrush and said, "Get to work." And we did that for a long ass time, and we did that for like a few days, just not non-stop. You know, it would be a certain time of the day they call us in here, and we do it for hours, you know what I mean, before we would stop. So that was actually not the last time we did some crazy stuff. There's actually a lot of crazy stories, but that was the first time that I almost had my 4th platoon scare, right? But that was a long enough story as is. I don't know how long I spent talking about this. Let's get back to the first 2 weeks. It was always interesting during the morning PT workouts, training, physical training, PT, when we would go outside and we would sit and do our exercises. Now, there's a thing about me that you guys might not know, but I love astronomy, I love space. I love the night sky, and being in this area, because I'm a city boy, so I don't really get to see a clear sky that isn't, you know, inhibited by lights and whatever. And being able to look up now when we're on our backs and we're exercising and doing all these kicks or whatever, we get to look up and see just every star in the sky. And it was actually one of the cooler experiences of doing it. It always made me feel a little better about me almost dying every morning. It's because I got to see something beautiful. Is that you get to see Mars and Saturn and all this, like pointing out at certain stars and stuff. But something actually interesting happened. This is going to be one of 2 times this ever happened at Free State. We looked up at the sky, and there was these 3 lights, right? These 1, 2, 3. They were like in the shape of a triangle. Like there was orbs, but they were in like a triangle formation. You know, one of us pointed it out like, "Hey, what the hell is that?" Right? You know, look at this set in the sky. We knew it wasn't like a helicopter or an airplane or anything, or a drone. We knew that from the way it looked, and it wasn't a star or anything else. It wasn't moons or satellites. It was at least less than a few. Like if it was 1,000 feet in the air, I'd still be surprised, right? It wasn't that high in the air. It was close enough to be physically, like it was close enough that I felt like if we got in the helicopter, it wouldn't take us too long to get to it. It was that close, right? And then, but the craziest thing was how they were moving. Now, this caught the attention of our cadre, good Lord. You know, our now a corporal. Now, again, not giving any names, but Corporal Ford, that's half of his name. Now, Corporal Ford looks in the air, right? And we're all looking up. Everyone stops exercising. 3rd platoon, 1st platoon, 2nd platoon. We all just looking up. Now, there wasn't 4th platoon at this time. That was introduced after the second, after the Rites of Passage. So we're all looking in the air. We're all confused. Like, what the hell is that? These 3 lights just kind of... I don't know what the correct wording is. Like, it's almost like they were dancing around each other. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. So we're completely mesmerized by that. And then they literally get really bright, and then they speed off in the left. Just gone. And it was fast enough to disappear within a blink of an eye. So we all lean up, right, from our sit-ups, curl-ups, whatever we were doing, and we look at our cadre like, what the hell was that, right? Because we're on a military base. The conspiracy theories are going to come to life if you don't explain. And our cadre looks at us and says, that ain't our business. I'm like, that ain't our business, huh? You're goddamn right it's not our business. That ain't got nothing to do with me, okay? That was the first time I've ever had an experience like that. Now, everyone tries to kind of like throw it off as maybe some military experiment, but the way, like, I've seen drones nowadays that are used to like float in the air. That wasn't it. Those are slow and like no. What was in the air was just you wouldn't believe it. If I had a camera, people would think I edited the video or something. It was absolutely crazy. So we finished our workouts as if nothing happened because we didn't have a choice. Now we actually have ranks that we have. Oh no, do I have to remember all of them? Oh no. Let's see, it was private, corporal. Oh Lord, I'm not even gonna remember all of them right now. I'm gonna look it up in a second. But we had our ranks, but we didn't get our ranks until after the rites of passage. So the rest of the week goes by, and we lose a couple more people. There was actually this really weird white guy who came in. Now, this guy was probably 20-something at the time. I was probably, 16, going on 17. I would be 17 by the time the program ended. Now, this guy came in, and he was in our program for all of 24 hours. When we went to bed and woke up, he was gone. No one explained where he went, but we all knew he existed. It was weird. He came and he left. So we came to the conclusion that the guy left. Like, he was old enough to actually walk out, right? He was, and I guess he didn't enjoy it there too much. He came in and he just left the next day. He wasn't about that, military style life, being screamed at and judged or whatever. Oh, by the way, our beds, which was a very interesting thing. They taught us how to make our beds. Making your beds, if you know anything about military, is very important. You will get smoked if you don't make your bed right. You don't keep your area clean. You have to stay hygienic at all times. You know what I mean? You can't be, unhygienic or whatever. So we actually had a few raids where they suspected that someone was smoking, or someone had drugs, or something that was contraband, which could be anything like electronics, candy, money. Anything that wasn't allowed was contraband, and if they felt like there was contraband anywhere near you, they were gonna come and search everything. So unfortunately, somebody on our side had, I do believe it was money. It was money, definitely money. So they came in and they didn't know who had it, but they know money existed and money was being traded. So what had happened was they went into every room, right? They made everyone, when they entered the room, stand in front of their locker, and one by one, they would have us rip out everything and throw it around, and they would search our lockers, and they would, search our bags with our laundry bags or whatever. They would search every nook and cranny. They would look through the ceilings. They would look under the beds. They would look under the over the windows, behind the lockers, just anywhere that we could hide something. They were gonna look. And I guess maybe they were bored or whatever, but they took that very seriously. They had a lot of fun making us rip our very neat and tidy lockers apart so they would feel better. And our beds, by the way, they made us rip our beds apart, then we would have to redo it. That was one of the most annoying things that would ever happen to us. But they didn't actually find the guy with the money, so they took us all outside and tried to get us to confess, and no one confessed because no one's stupid, so we all got smoked. So not only did we have to redo all of our rooms because it got torn apart during a raid because someone had money, we also got smoked for it. All to find out that the guy who had the money, Like, I actually don't know who it was, but he actually left the program before the rites of passage started. So we actually got smoked for a lot of people who were never actually there. So that was always a very interesting thing. We were tired, by the way. The only thing that saved us that day was it was a very cloudy day, so we weren't going to die in that summer heat. That happened. Let's see. Someone tried to steal some bread out of the. Another thing you can't do. You can't take food outside of the cafe area, the chow hall, as they like to call it. If you did, you would get smoked. Again, like most times, you will get smoked. Possibly kicked out the program for stealing. They don't really play that whole stealing thing. So let's get to my roommates for a second. This is all week 2 now. Nothing particularly happened until the rites of passage. I had this white kid that, like I talked about earlier. Now he was from like Arkansas, Kentucky. He's somewhere. He was from somewhere southern, right? Now this guy, unfortunately, I think his name was Robert. But I'm very sure that it wasn't Robert. It was something similar to that. But we're gonna call him Robert. Now, Robert didn't give a single censor. Excuse my language, but he did not care about this program at all. Now, he actually he had this issue with his body where he had. Man, I don't even remember. He had joint issues. So he was always in pain. He had a lot of joint pain throughout his body. And he was always irritated, and he smoked a lot. So before this, now I do remember he left before the 2 weeks were up, if I can remember. I remember towards the final days before we were going to go on our rites to passage, and we were all kind of nervous because this was it, right? This was going to determine who stays and who goes. This man right here, let me tell you what he did. We were in formation and he was missing, and we were like, where the hell is Robert at? Like, he's supposed to be here. Like, it's like, you can't not be here. You have to be here. So he actually walked up smoking one of his cigarettes, and I was just absolutely like jaw dropped, because for him to have had a cigarette, had a lighter both on him when no one bought him that means that he must have had that since he first came into the program. So he's had this stuff for almost 2 weeks straight, and no one's ever known. And it's actually become apparent to me that he probably smoked beforehand, and he just walked up and said, hey, to one of the cadre, because he was just done with the program. We're not going to talk too much about him, but we're going to talk about how he left that program. He walked up and said, hey, I don't care, and he smoked, and they grabbed him, and it was like, and threw a cigarette to the ground, and he was completely unfazed. So I guess they called his parents, and he was hasta la vista. Now, me and him were cool. We were cool. We weren't best friends or anything, but we were okay. You know, he was a roommate, and he was a good one. So the last thing he said to me, now this is a person that I was able to talk to about a lot of my my feelings that I wasn't able to finish this program. Again, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is a program I didn't think I could do. With the size that I was at, I didn't feel comfortable. He actually told me I better be one of the people who finishes the program. So Robert out there, I don't know where you're at. I hope you listen to this video, but yeah, I did it. So, no, you're welcome. Hey. So at this point, we are at the end of the 2 weeks. Basically, again, nothing happened, and really, the second week was basically everything was repetitive. We got smoked a lot. I have a lot of different stories of us getting smoked, but I don't want to make all these videos 40 and 50 minutes long. But to give you a quick one, I remember someone stole some bread from the calf, and like, I don't know if I said this earlier or not. People stole for a lot of reasons. We got smoked. My entire platoon got smoked because nobody wanted to confess. We got smoked one time when we were tested for our marching again, and we were just kind of sloppy. They smoked us for that, I remember. because I mean, people couldn't left. No, some people did not know their lefts from their rights. That was, I don't know if that's a thing, but some people did not know what going left or what right means. You know, left face, right face. You know, here's some basic left face, right face. Here's some basic marching right here.
Right pace. About pace. And salute. Present arms. Order, arms. And salute. Present arms. Order, arms.
Yeah, so people couldn't do basic marching, and it was beginning to actually start to affect us because we were getting smoked for it. Some of us got smoked because we wouldn't get on, we wouldn't like shut up in formation. People just had to be rude or talk or laugh at when people are being so our cadre are being serious. It got pretty bad at times, and again it's like 100 degrees every day, so we were just suffering out in the heat. And again, we still didn't have our canteens at this point, so we're dead out there. So the next part is gonna have all of what happened during the rites of passage. I'm gonna go into as much detail as possible. A lot of that day was fuzzy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give you guys a quick spoiler. During that journey, I think I almost met Jesus. Honestly, it was so strenuous to me. It's something I've never thought I would have to do in my life or would do. I was doing at a rate which I was not prepared for. But we're gonna get into the next part. If you guys did enjoy this video, please click the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'm out. Peace.
Hasta